Oh, my neck. Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to TWF, Rampage or Ramfru. Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, and Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, and Elijah Burke here. And today on Rampage or Ramfru, I understand that we're going to see some kind of, you know, understand some kind of fight is underway, Mike Lane says. Well, you would be right about that, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone says. I understand that Dennis Rodman and Baron Corbin have gotten into some kind of fight. Well, Tony Schiavone says, I can tell you one thing, Elijah Burke says. If it's happening, then we need to go to it right now. Yeah, get in there. Here. You get the end of days. And you get the deep six. Yeah. You and your out-of-date NWO shirt, dyed your hair green. You think you're cool because you used to play winnable ball in the NBA. And you were in WCW one time. Yeah. Rodzilla, my rear. What kind of bullshit nickname that is. Oh yeah, and you won the Hulk Hogan well-known winnings wrestling show. You won the Hulk Hogan wrestling show back in whatever. Ha ha ha. Well, who really cares? He ain't done shit. Well, I don't know, Mike Lane says, why Baron Corbin had started something with Dennis Rodman. And to my understanding, I didn't think that was going to happen at all, Mike Lane said. I mean, Dennis Rodman had been in TWF starting from between 98 YL to 20 YL. And then starting from 2011 YL to now. So yeah. I mean, starting from like 2012 YL to 23rd between when I saw it to now. So his two-diff run is longer than his first run, Mike Lane says. And Tony Schiavone said, don't forget, Dennis Rodman in his first run in the Toy Wrestling Gathering, between 98 YL to 20 YL, he, believe it or not, had film over him, keeping him together as someone got broken in the past and someone put film around him. Yeah, I know that, Elijah Burke says. But that used to be something that the John Holiday World All Wrestling Gathering would do. A wrestler broke, they'd put film around it. The arm broke off, I'll put something to hold the hand in. We all know how it happened with Hercules in his first run in TWF 2, Well, now Michael Cole is going to catch up with Baron Corbin. Alright, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with Baron Corbin here today on Rampage or Ramfru. And, Baron Corbin, why did you do what you did to Dennis Rodman? Oh, well, because Dennis Rodman thinks he's cool, Michael Cole. He thinks he's so cool, well the truth is he's not. He's got an out-of-date NWO shirt. He hasn't done anything cool. Everybody keeps saying how cool it is and how great it is that his two-diff run in the Toy Wrestling Gathering was longer than his first run. So I took that green-haired, winnable ball player, NWO follower, and I beat the shit out of him. And Dennis Rodman, he's so out of it, he'll probably think that it was Karl Malone beating him up. Or he's worse, he'll probably think it was Jay Leno beating him up. Or even worse than that, He might truly believe he was in those bullshit matches with Randy Savage towards the end of his run in WCW. Well, so you just picked on Dennis Rodman for no ground, sake or why. That's right. I had no ground, sake or why for picking on Dennis Rodman, but I did. And Michael Cole, no one's going to do anything about it. Well, that's my talk with Baron Corbin. Back to you, Mike Lane and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Michael Cole, for talking with Baron Corbin here today on Rampage. A ran through, Mike Lane says. And here comes Dennis Rodman coming in the ring now. Baron Corbin, you wanted to start something with me? I saw you had so fun beating me up from behind in the beginning of this show. And you're going to give me shit for wearing the NWO shirt? I can't help it. This doll was made by Toy Biz in between 98 YL when the NWO was still going on. And when I was in WCW from between 97 YL till between 99 YL, I was mostly in the NWO. Alright? And for your needed, at least I got to team up with Hulk Hogan to take on Dallas Page and Karl Malone. Something you never would do. Alright? At least I got to have, I don't really want to say they were great matches with Randy Savage, but I got to work with Randy Savage. Someone you never have the luck to work with. So anyway, and if we overlook my match with Kurt Hennig in 2001 YL in 20, then everything will be great. So Baron Corbin, come out here and leer me leer to leer. Oh, why should I? You washed up NBA winnable ball player. You washed up former WCW skilled wrestler. I've done a lot more things as a former football player, as a former NFL football player, and a WWE wrestler than you ever did as an NBA winnable ball player or a WCW wrestler. So yeah, we'll have the match, but I'm going to be the one winning. Ha ha ha. Alright, Mike. Look out, Mike Lane says. Dennis Rodman's got Baron Corbin up. And of what he calls the dirty thing. They calls it the dirty thing, Mike Lane says. Do you know why they call him that? For Mike Lane says. Because his nickname and his first run in the toy wrestling gathering was called Dirty Dennis Rodman. Tony Schiavone said, which I guess was a more of a kinder nickname than being called the Worm Dennis Rodman. Tony Schiavone says, well, Elijah Burke says he only called him the Worm for because he always wormed himself in and out of binds. That's why they called him that. And he just took out Baron Corbin with the dirty thing. How sad is that? No, Baron Corbin, you can't lose to this former NBA winnable ball player, former WCW wrestler. 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Here is your winner, Dennis Rodman. And now Dennis Rodman has got the win over Baron Corbin here today on Rampage or Ram Through. And if that makes Dennis Rodman good, Mike Lane says, making Dennis Rodman the good leader and making Baron Corbin the heel in this whole thing, your guess is greater than mine, Mike Lane says. Well, I can tell you one thing, Dennis Rodman was always known for being a heel during his time in the NBA and his time in WCW. And he offshoot between being a good and heel during his first run in the TWF and his 2nd run in the TWF. Tony Schiavone said, we can't forget that Dennis Rodman had runs through with Steve Austin in his first run in the TWF. Oh yeah, I tell you one thing, Elijah Burke says. You know, Dennis Rodman I don't know if he's really can really onlook him or anything. I mean, yes, he was a former NBA winnable ball player, a former WCW wrestler. Yeah, I guess so. He was a show player. He was a show player. He was at least in one film, I can say. But I don't know if he ever gave you anything for anyone to onlook him for. And I think he needs to know that the NWO was died in 2002 YL. So that shirt, he should not be wearing that shirt anymore, Elijah Burke says. Well, like we said, Mike Lane said he can't help it. That's the shirt the Toy Biz put on him in 9 between 98 YL. That's right, Tony Schiavone said. He can't help it. And I think we should take Dennis Rodman's side in this whole thing. Well, we're going to hear from Dennis Rodman before the show's over. Alright, Baron Corbin. I beat you. I don't know why you started something with me, but I'm going to end it. You want to make fun of me for teaming up with Hulk Hogan to take on Dallas Page and Karl Malone? You going to make fun of me for having all those matches with Randy Savage? You going to shame me for, for being an NBA, winnable ball player or being a WCW wrestler? Well, Baron Corbin, you all know you were a former NFL football player that didn't quite cut it before you became a WWE wrestler. And how does it feel to know you lost to a former NBA winnable ball player and a former WCW wrestler? Yeah, you're the one being in shame. And I did a lot more things in the TWF than you did. Heavyweight fighter, interlanded fighter, light heavyweight fighter. What did you do, Baron Corbin? Oh, I know. You're a former TWF 24/7 fighter, and you lost the same day you won it. Well, that's all the time we got here for Rampage or Ramfru. I, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, and Elijah Burke. We hope you like Rampage or Ramfru, and we'll see you tomorrow for Collision or Hit.